Hey guys, Jason Squilleri here, and today I'm going to show you how to adjust your parking brake on your rear caliper. But before we get started with that, let's make sure your caliper is mounted properly in the first place. To do so, click the link in the description to check out that video. Oh, you're back. I hope that helped you out. So adjusting your parking brake correctly is very important to the overall braking system. Improper adjustment can result in a low pedal, something none of us want to see or feel. So let's get started and I'll show you how to avoid all that. All right, so to get started, if this was in our car, we would remove the cable and then the spring. Since we're using the display, we're going to remove just the spring itself. And first step is to cycle the lever. This will engage our pads closer to our rotor. That's step one. So our caliper that we use is designed after a higher end GM caliper that is seen on some Cadillac models. That being said, I'm going to now show you how working the lever will push the piston out. As I cycle the lever in the direction that the cable would pull it, you can now see the piston coming out of the caliper. And this is what's going to engage the pads closer to the rotor. Now, I'm going to show you how to return the piston back into the caliper. There's a few different methods. One, there's a tool to do it, to twist it in. The other method I like to use if I have not introduced brake fluid to the system is to pull the nut off that holds the lever. Go ahead and take your friction and dust washer off. Take a wrench counterclockwise and spin it in. This will allow you to push the piston back into place. I do that a couple times just to make sure it's all the way in. Once it's in, I like to just turn this back out and go ahead and return the washers. Then the lever, and then the nut. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and return the piston back in the caliper using the caliper tool. It's got a little pin here that's going to go into one of the recesses. This outer ring will go around the piston itself. Okay. Be sure that you get the right notch in position for your pad. It's got a little tang on it. It's going to be straight to the bottom. So we'll go ahead and adjust to that. There we go. Be sure your boot's not all twisted. We got that exactly where we need it. That's the mechanics of our caliper. So here's what it looks like before I cycle the lever. Now I'm going to cycle the lever several times. This will push the piston out, engage the pads closer to the rotor, and here's what it looks like now. With our first step done, you'll notice that we have some slop in between the lever and the stop. This may not look like much, but this is where our low pedal comes from, so it's very critical we get this set up properly. Once adjusted, we're looking for a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch gap in between the lever and the stop. All right, so for step two, we're going to fine tune the lever. We're going to start off by putting a reference line on there just so I know how many times I turn it and where I'm at in orientation. First step is to take the nut off, the lever. I'm going to go ahead and pull off the nylon washer. So the next step to fine tune this is, I'm going to go ahead and put our wrench on here. We're going to snug up the nut to the wrench. If we don't put the nut on there, the adjuster will fall into the caliper. So to fine tune it, we're going to go back. And I'm going to do this pretty drastically so you can see the reference line moving. And then forward. And what I'm trying to do is bring this lever closer to the stop. And when we do that, we're going to cycle it in the direction of the cable, just like a ratchet. You can see our reference line. I'm going to do this kind of drastically, so you can see our reference line is really moving from where it was. And you can do this as many times as you need to, and this may take a few tries to get this lever where you want it. Now, I'm going to pay a little more attention and put the lever back on there to see where I'm at up against the stop. So we're still off by a hair that way. We're really off now that way, so we need to bring that back now and pay a little more attention. Let's try that out. I went just a little too far. That's okay. Take your time. It's pretty simple once you get the concept, and hopefully I'm getting that across to you. Just a little bit more. Oh, that looks pretty good. We're right on the stop. You turn your nylon washer on there. Lever. Nut. Lock it down. See where we're at. Look at that. You don't want any more than 1/16 to an 1/8 inch movement out of the lever, and we're right on the money. From there, we're going to return our return spring. All right, so you should only have to adjust your parking brake once as long as you cycle your parking brake regularly. CPP is always improving on what already is a great product. Here's a little example of that. On our old lever, you saw me adjusting it, and the steps coming back were pretty big. There's only 6 ways to adjust that with what the design was. Well, the new one's double that. So now you got finer steps to come back, which is going to make it a little quicker to adjust. And this lever has already been installed on all CPP calipers from 2021 and newer. If you would like to update yours to this newer one, all you have to do is purchase them separately. Why did I want to make this video? It was because I was having the same issue. My pedal was traveling way too far, and I knew for sure I had no air in the system. How did I learn how to properly adjust my parking brake? Well, CPP's disc brake and power steering guide. It gives you installation, tech tips, troubleshooting. Make sure you pick one up. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.